Michael. Hello, thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen, and this is No More Water. Fire next time. Hope y'all had a good time at church yesterday and enjoyed yourselves. And make sure I got this right on YouTube. Hold on a second. Okay, yeah. Hope you enjoyed yourselves at church yesterday. Um, there's a couple churches I want to mention before I get started. There's my brother who's a pastor in Cahokia. If you live in the St. Louis area, in Cahokia Heights, Illinois, a New Mount Zion Primitive Baptist Church at 4300 Converse Avenue. My brother Roger, Elder Roger Allen, is the pastor. Go by there and visit them sometimes. And also, New Shining Light Holiness Deliverance Non-Denominational Church at 740 Broadway in Venice, Illinois, where Bishop John H. Williams is pastor. A New Shining Light is going to be having a toy giveaway this Christmas. And they're trying to get on it early, because we want to supply as many toys as possible to as many children as they can. You can take toys by New Shining Light at 740 Broadway in Venice, Illinois. Or I don't have the number handy, but you can look it up or give them a call. And if you don't have any toys to give, you can send them a cash donation to New Shining Light HDNC at 740 Broadway in Venice, Illinois. And I'm sure they'll greatly appreciate it. But now getting off into our subject, I noticed that during the occupation, because that's what it is, the occupation in Washington D.C., that they're not having a whole lot of confrontations between the police and black people that I've seen so far. But one that I noticed was that when they had a night where they have a curfew there. There was this teen night, and people allowed their teenage children to go out and just do things, just run around town, and the police did get after them then. Now, what I like to know, if you know that sort of thing is going on, this for the parents and the children. If you know, let me type this in right quick. If you know that this sort of thing is going on, why would you allow your children to go out? And the kids, these were teenage children. You're not little babies. You know what's going on. Why would you go out there knowing the city is being occupied? That didn't even make sense. Let me type this in real quick. These old gnats flying around again. Every time I think I got rid of them, they want to come back around again. Like I don't know where they come from. Don't keep any food up in here. But look, if you know a problem is pending, why run to it? You see, they want you to do those type of things. See, what happened is black people have been sitting this one out. Matter of fact, black people have been sitting it out ever since Ferguson, but people hadn't even noticed. Black people didn't participate that much in Black Lives Matter. It was mostly white people carrying it. I know because I had to record a lot of them, live stream a lot of the marches. Some of them you can even find a black person there because black people went to Ferguson, did all that marching for months, night after night, stared down armored personnel carriers and military vehicles, but still got the same results. We moved on past that. We boycotting and thinking of other strategies and leaving that 1960s civil rights strategy in the past. It's not working anymore. But what I see in Washington, D.C., since we're not going out to them, they're going into these black cities to bring it to us. And we're still not paying them much attention. And what I said that about the children, sitting around and the children going out, having that teen night, knowing there's a curfew, knowing they got National Guards and even military troops from the military in your city. Why go out like that? And you parents, why let your children go out and participate in that? Just ride this out. Leave the state. Try to stay home as much as you can. And you grown men sitting around hanging out. Come on, go home. You're not little children hanging out like little children. Go home. Go to work. Go home. Whatever you do, because they see you out like that. The ones I saw that they have approached were people hanging out. Just don't go to the basketball court. Wait till all this is over. Basketball enough that important to you that you want to get knocked upside your head and dragged into a van, then be crying for people to come get me, come save me. When you end up in, they are looking for a reason. They really want us out of here. So all this stuff they're doing to Latinos, they're only doing it to them because they can't do it to us. But you know, in Trump, he'll try to find a way. He's broken every other law. And and I tell you, I do not feel sorry. These Latinos down here whining and crying. Where are the blacks? Oh, we was there with Black Lives Matter. You wasn't nowhere. So I know how you all they feel about us. I lived around them. So a lot of black people didn't live around them in this area. I lived in Los Angeles for a long time. They hated us. Everybody hated us. The Latinos, the Africans, the Jamaicans, all of them, they hated us. Those Latinos voted for Trump because they thought they were so stupid. The Latinos and the Africans, you know what they said? We thought when they were talking about and the Haitians, when they was talking about the thugs and the gangsters they were going to get rid of, we thought they were talking about the black people. They thought we were immigrants. Tell you how stupid they are. How can we be immigrants? You have to immigrate to a country, to a nation. This wasn't even a nation when we came. That's why now they call us foundational black Americans because we was here from the foundation of the country and helped build it. They just come to live off the fat of the land to make their lives better. And they hated us, all of them did. Matter of fact, we were treated better by the European immigrants than by the people of color. And over there in those countries, people of color, India, they treat black people horrible. China, they treat black people horrible over there. Brazil, all those nations, all around the world, they treat black people horrible. You know, a lot of people say, what's got to do with they should come here try to act white and what they've been told about us. We were told stuff about the Africans. We were told stuff about people. We didn't mistreat them. We still tried to get along with them. We didn't go about that. We saw those pictures of them with the big bloated bellies and flies all over them. We knew that was from refugee camps, from wars that the Europeans started. We didn't hold that against them. We judge them, but we didn't judge nobody. We just tried to get along with everybody. No one wanted to get along with us. Now everybody want to holler where the blacks at. Black, we was there with Black Lives Matter. You wasn't nowhere. There was white folks out there doing Black Lives Matter. White folks and a few black folks. You wasn't nowhere. You doing the civil rights movement. All that time Latinos was nowhere there. As a matter of fact, you were doing everything against us. You know what they were doing? They wouldn't vote for black candidates. They laughed at us when we would be out protesting. We haven't forgotten that. Haven't forgotten it at all. The leader of the MS-13, he was in prison. He told the Latino gangs, I want all black people out of my neighborhood. You know they wouldn't go take on the young black guys. They know what would happen to them. They'll find an old man sitting on a bus stop or something and blow his brains out, put a bullet in his head. That's the type of stuff they was doing out in L.A. And we're supposed to feel sorry for you. You out there spitting on black cops, calling them the N-word. Most other policemen in Los Angeles are Mexican or Latino, but mostly Mexican. They got little Latino gangs in the police department who go after blacks. And we're supposed to feel sorry for you? Trump told you what he was going to do. Told you, but you thought he was going to. See, you know, most people who voted for Trump, they were trying to hurt somebody else. I thought they were going to do it to somebody. That's why I don't have pity for none of them. Because they were trying to hurt somebody. They're just upset because they're the ones being hurt. I saw a white guy saying, I hated, I voted for Trump. I hate I ever voted for him. I should have set that one out. And people was applauding him. And I'm not thinking about him because it's what he didn't say. He said he'd rather set it out rather than vote for the black woman. He never said nothing about he should have voted for Kamala Harris. He said he should have set it out. You gotta read between the lines. Kamala Harris told them Trump is gonna have the military in your cities. He's gonna put tariffs, you're gonna lose your farms. She told them throughout the campaign. Everything that's happening now, she told them it was gonna happen. But they didn't listen. Losing their farms. Black farmers are not losing theirs because you know why? The black farmers couldn't get the loans. So they had to save up and pay cash for all this stuff. So they don't know the banks anything. See, what was meant for bad is turning out for their good. See, now they own all this stuff. The black farmers are selling crops that they can use machinery to pick for them. They didn't need migrant workers. They didn't need them. You know why? The white ones was growing crops like soybeans and all, but they sent to China. Now that market's gone. They're getting it from Brazil. Now they say they don't want any more United States soybeans. But see, you needed people to pick that. Since the black farmers couldn't get the loans, they had to go and sell the type of crops that machinery could pick. They bought the machines, helped each other out sometimes. They did work together. I have to say that those black farmers worked together. But what happened was, so they didn't need migrant workers because they couldn't. You know why? They wouldn't allow them in the soybean market because see, many of those white farmers were becoming millionaires because of the soybeans that the government was subsidizing them. The black farmers couldn't get it. So now what was meant for their bad is working out for their good. They may be able to acquire them some more farmland real soon. Matter of fact, I may look into it like farmland, maybe going cheap soon. If JD Vance don't buy it, those corporates don't buy it all up. And see, that's why we have to look out for ourselves now. Right now, we're in a very good position. They may not. I don't know what's going to happen soon, but they have came after us. But then they've done just about everything they can do to us. You see what they're doing to these other people. They're talking about the blacks are you're next. No, you are the next. See, because they've been doing it to us for maybe 500 years. You just had a few months of it. How many times you saw them dragging black people into police cars, beating them on the street, killing them on the street? You just getting a taste of it a few months and all at once. It's been happening to us all the time. You did nothing. Matter of fact, it was some of your cops, the Latino cops, that helped do it. Just look at their surnames. Many of them had Spanish surnames. How many of you contributed to George Zimmerman GoFundMe when he killed Trayvon Martin? When he murdered, he didn't kill him. When he murdered Trayvon Martin. How can you stand your ground on a fight you started? How many of you Latinos contributed to him? How many of you Latinos contributed to Williams or what's the guy name that killed Michael Brown? Darren Wilson. I believe that's his name. That cop. How many of you contributed to his GoFundMe? How many of you contributed to Derek Chauvin GoFundMe when he killed George Floyd? I bet a lot of you contributed. But see, I know why they're after you now. They're trying to stop the browning of the United States. They can't get rid of us, not legally. I hope they don't try to find a loophole, but they can get rid of you. Because you know why? You tricked them. You usually voted Republican, but you helped elect Barack Obama. That's the one time you did side with black people, do something with black people. And they've been after you ever since. That's when they start talking about stopping the browning of the United States because they don't want another black person in office. Excuse me. We thank you for helping to elect Obama, but it don't make up for all the other crap you've done to us. And you've done a lot of it. I lived in LA, yo. You all tried to wipe black people out of there. Now you're getting wiped out. And I'm going I'm getting ready to say sorry that you're getting wiped out, but I'd be lying because I'm not sorry. All the people I'm worried about right now is us and no one else. You Asians, you snotty self, you think you can treat black people like we're nothing. I don't see how you all go up in their stores. They treat you like crap up in there. You these Asians, let me tell you why Asians open up stores in black neighborhoods now. These Arabs. Do you know when Asians go to get a business loan, many of them can't get it unless they're gonna open a business in the black neighborhood. Same way with the Arabs. But the black people can't get the loans to open up a business in the black neighborhood. I wish we could run all these people out. Matter of fact, well, see, I don't want to see ICE up in black neighborhoods. They have no business because we're not immigrants. If they do want to come up in the morning, they go up to those stores. Go the Asian stores, the Arab stores, Latino stores here. Why don't they go up in there? Because they don't have no business bothering none of the citizens here. And if they do, we're going to have to deal with them. I don't care who they are. Especially you see somebody in some hoods throwing a black woman up in some unmarked van. You don't know who those people are and what they taking her to do to her. A black woman or a man, but especially women and children. See, have you noticed the Proud Boys don't march no more? You know what they said? Win the government now. That's why they're wearing all those masks. A lot of those ICE agents are Proud Boys, Klansmen, neo-Nazi. I don't care who they are. You see them grabbing one of these people in these black neighborhoods. Yeah, we need to deal with them. Even if it got to come to a physical thing. I mean, pow, pow, pow. I mean, if it got to come to a physical thing, we can't stand for that. That old Martin Luther King stuff not working no more. Now, when they start physically harming us, we got to deal with that. And I don't care who, I can know who they are. I don't care. I don't care what type of department they're from. You're not. We don't need to be letting them come with masks on, throwing people up in no van around here because we're all citizens. We don't need to go for it. I'm going to tell you something about these and what they're doing to these Latinos, and they even harming white people. You see them dragging white women all over the grounds now. But you know what? They're not like us. We were indoctrinated with that peaceful protest, which I wasn't. That's why I don't protest. I live stream because I don't believe in peaceful protest. That's why I didn't get out there. You don't do violence to me. Then when it's time for me to respond, I gotta be peaceful. That's like you. I black your eye. Then when it's time for you to get ready to hit back, you gotta respond with peace. No, both sit there all messed up. Then we'll negotiate. I'm not gonna sit there all messed up and nothing happened to them. They don't have a mark. They don't work like that. You hurt me, I hurt you. Then you want to talk about it. Then we may talk about it. But back to what I was saying. Look, what was I saying? the with the Oh, I'm saying about the peaceful protest. Oh yeah, we don't need to sit back and just let people hurt us like that. Cause that stuff that nonviolent stuff not working no more. They think they can just come up. You had two policemen come up and just violate us right in front of the others. Never just normal police. Obey them. I'm talking about ICE and these old Proud Boys they got out here. Because I tell you why. Don't go and obey the regular police because that's their job. If they're doing their job the normal way, go ahead and obey them. Because you don't want any problems with them. Because if you out there committing a crime, and disobeying the law, they're doing what they're supposed to do. But I'm talking about these old other people coming up in here. Now they're saying the National Guards in D.C. is now being armed. But you notice something? They're going to all these black cities, all these cities in blue states with black mayors. St. Louis, you said they're not saying nothing about St. Louis, Missouri. Number one crime city in a red state. Now they have a white female mayor. They're not saying nothing about St. Louis. Jackson, Mississippi, in a red state. High crime, nothing. Memphis, nothing. But one thing I will say that I don't agree with the mayor of Chicago on when they was bringing all those immigrants in. You got homeless people up in Chicago. They're bringing in immigrants, putting them in hotels, giving them link cards. And you got homeless people been here for years. Why come you can't do that for them? Help them get employment. I know some of them may have mental issues and some drug issues, but mostly mental. And that's why a lot of them can't get help because people think all of them on drugs. Many of them have mental issues. But look, I didn't agree with him on that because the people who helped founded this country, which is us, couldn't get all of that. Yet these people come here and get it. Maybe the homeless people needed to go down to Mexico and come back across the border. They could have got free hotel and link cards, free food. But I didn't agree with. I agree with him on just about everything else, but I didn't agree with him on that. Cause I'm just be honest with you. Any black people want to get out there and help those people, that's your prerogative. No one can tell you what to do. Go on out there and help them if you want to. But I'm not lifting a finger. If you're not one of us, what they call the FBA's now Foundation of Black Americans, I'm not thinking about you. No, they don't come our way. Because you had your chance to do right by us for a long time. And you never did. The Haitians have the nerve to come over here and be arguing with us when they have nothing. And you know what? You know what the Haitians and the Africans said and the Jamaicans said, we don't have a country. At least they got a country. We don't have a country. We do have a country. It's called the United States of America. We have founded this nation. We have built it. You know why? Because the white man was too lazy. That's why he had to bring slaves over. He was too lazy to get out in the fields like he is now. When it was time to build a railroad, he had to bring the Chinese over. They never done no hard work. The Chinese had to build the railroad. The only time the white people started doing farm work and building infrastructure, black people built the White House. The slaves built plantation house. You see when them plantations burned down, they say it was built by slaves. What was white folks building stuff? They only start building stuff when the invent of machineries to make it easier. You see, they won't get out there now. You see when they come to those forums talking about where the blacks at, where the whites at. They don't have jobs. And see, lately they've been revealing about how poor white people are. A lot of them really got it bad. They made it seem like it was just black people. that this is a much higher percentage of white people getting food stamps than been reported. A lot of them getting away with crimes. A lot of that coming out now. And see, black people crime rate is not as high as people say. I said this before, I'm gonna say it again. How they go to the FBI site. So you can look this up. When I say stuff about statistics, you can look it up for yourself. When they report crime, they don't report actual crimes that's committed. They report the arrest for the crime. And it says that more black people are arrested, a higher, not want to say more black people, a higher percentage of black people are arrested for crime, but a higher percentage of black people are usually exonerated and let go, not even charged. But it still went down as a crime. But it also says a higher number of white people are not exonerated. So they actually did it. That's why they have all those traffic stops. That's why they say they don't have quotas, but they do. That's why they so quick to arrest black people. How many times you seen black people see a white person doing something, they say, "Oh, if he was black, they be putting him or her, they be on their way to jail." You've seen heard black people say that before, because they arrest black people to get their crime stat. That's what it's for. More and black people, only one demographic of black people is committing most of the crime. The FBI report also says this is from 2000. They updated it every 5 years. It should be out. I said I'm gonna look at it, but I haven't looked yet. But look, the white people are they says the no, it says the 90% of the crime in black areas is committed by less than 2% of the people, less than between the ages of 14 and 22. And in black areas, crime is not all over town. It's in pockets. And it seems like black people live in large metropolitan areas, about 26 metropolitan areas around this country, except in a few southern states. You don't see black people all over the state. That why white folks don't have to build no white town for themselves. Most of them already live in white towns. And we don't care. You have what you want to them. I want to come to no hick towns anyway. Talking about going to raising goats and sheep. And what black folks want to come to that anyway? It's most of those sundown towns and towns black folks didn't want to come to anyway. Don't even want to be there sun up, let alone sundown. White folks don't even want to be there. We don't want no black shit. We don't want to come there. But see, the thing is, white people, they commit crimes no matter what their demographics is. They can have jobs. Have you noticed when you be around working class black people, crime rate is very low? Black people, crime has to do with economics. People trying to get something, get ahead. White people crime come from just being a criminal. They can have money still going out there committing crime. Look at January 6th. There weren't no broke people. There were policemen, state senators, lawyers. One woman flew in on her private jet to join that mess. Could you imagine a black woman who can afford a private jet coming out there for some mess like that? If she's going to be jetting probably over to Paris or somewhere, do some shopping, she going to be coming flying over. You wouldn't find no black woman who could afford a private jet. Who even think about doing something like that? A black policeman don't go and try to kill and hurt another policeman. We commit crimes that's just certain demographic. You're gonna have a few. You find some working people. You're always gonna have a few. I'm talking about. I'm going by the consistency of the majority. You're gonna always have somebody do something. But we don't commit it across the board, and it's not all over town. Just look at St. Louis, Missouri. There's places in the city that's virtually crime-free. And then there's others that's infested with crime. They don't commit crime all over town. Look at all the usually in the metropolitan area, there's black communities surrounding that city that are virtually crime-free because those people got jobs and make money. When black people got jobs and make money, they don't commit a lot of crime. But white people do. They can have good jobs, make good money, still going out there committing silly crimes. But they just don't get charged for it like we do. And many of the black people who go to prison, they don't have attorneys. And to keep from getting an extra long prison sentence, a lot of them just confess to stuff that they may not even done. Then they see a lot of them have mental issues. Some of those people be so mentally ill, they'll confess to killing Martin Luther King and John F. Kennedy. Well, I should have said unalive. I forgot. All right, I hope they don't put a strike on me, but should say on here you have to say unalive. But yeah, we're not as bad as they make us out to be. And you hear about our crimes more. You know why? By us being so congested. White people spread out. Most people spread out. Like I said, we live in these large metropolitan areas. Let's say 20 people get unalive in Illinois tonight. Across the state of Illinois in their areas. 5 in Chicago. You're going to hear about that 5 in Chicago because it's congested and it's around the news markets. That's why you're going to hear it seem like black people doing so much. And in the way we do it, we do a lot of stuff with weapons, and that makes more news. I remember years ago, whenever a black person committed a crime, they say black male, black female. But when it was a white person, they say a male, a female. And they had to get on them about that. They had to get on them about, when there was gang banging going on, they would say that it was gang related. If a person got killed, it was gang related or drug related. And there was people who had nothing to do with drugs or gangs who were killed. But the way they reported it, it made it seem he was a preacher at one time. He didn't get killed, but he got shot by some drug people. He just in the crossfire. But the way they reported, they were complaining because it made it seem like as though he had something to do with drugs when he didn't. And then there were people who had killed their loved ones, got that, excuse me, making it seem like the people they were killed over gang, when it was just some gang activity that they got killed, maybe got caught in the crossfire, but they had nothing to do with it. And another way they do it, let's say there's a, have you ever noticed in the paper when you see, hey, I know I'm on crime now, but that just came to my mind. And I gotta show you, we're not bad as they say we are. If you notice, there could be a story about a white person who get caught for burglary or robbery. And they'll say he's responsible for numerous robberies and burglaries in this area. But you notice they didn't report it until they caught him. So the people can now feel safe and property value stays the same. But if you notice, when there's one person committing a string of burglaries and robberies in the black area, they report each one as it happened. Every day you're seeing a different one in the paper. It's a psychological game. So it seems like as though they're not worried about black people's property value. They'll say, when they catch him, they'll say he was responsible for numerous burglaries or robberies, but they put each one in the paper. You never read, the white guys, you never read about the other burglaries and robberies that he was responsible for. You just heard them say it after they caught him. It's a mind game they play with you because they have to have somebody to look down on. They don't want us gone. They go crazy if we left this nation. They need someone to look down on to keep their sanity. They go crazy without us. Or somebody. They'll turn on each other. You see over in Europe how they was on the Irish and different people. They have to have someone to look down on. You got to turn on some of their own. Maybe start turning on redheads. I don't know, but they have to have someone to look down on to feel good about themselves. And so that's why I say, like in these different areas, I got on the crime just to show that these places is not as crime ridden as Trump says. Matter of fact, the most crime ridden cities are in red states. Jackson, Mississippi is really up there. New Orleans, all those are red states. St. Louis, those are all red states. But they don't. If they're going after more than blue states with black mayors. And the Democrats, they just like some little jellyfishes. You know, want to start gerrymandering. You knew the Republicans was doing that all the time. It's like the Democrats don't respond to stuff unless they get popular in the news, where everybody talking about it. I'm getting tired of seeing these press conferences. We don't need you to just tell us what's going on. We already know. We see it all over the internet and everywhere else. We want you to do something about it. We're tired of press conferences. Do something. If the Republicans gerrymander in Texas, we're gonna don't wait on them. Just do it. They didn't wait on you. They cleaning your clock all over the map. You should have been doing it. That's why Latoya Greenwood in East St. Louis, how she lost that seat. Been the a person from East St. Louis has held that seat while very young had a long time. Kenneth Hall had because, but what happened was they gerrymandered that district. That's why Latoya's keep losing now. A Republican's gonna win. But you know what? Some of them, those Republicans may fool them and start voting Democrat. It's been happening in other parts of the country. But you see, they are but they have to be proactive and stop being reactive and be proactive. When you're at war, you don't always just wait to see what your enemy is gonna do. This is war. But for other people not playing by the rules, you shouldn't play by the rules. You got to find a way to counteract that. I told you before, like when I was with R.J. Cross and we had children playing basketball. We teach our children to play by the rules. But when we would go into, we played a lot of Catholic schools. Sometimes we go in there and the referee letting them play any kind of way. And we would tell them, say, look, well, our children play by the rules. Now, if you're going to let them play any kind of way, that put us at a disadvantage. They're like they wouldn't do it. Okay, now, these boys from the streets of East St. Louis, you don't want us to cut them loose. They kept letting them do it. We cut them loose. After we get up over 50 points ahead, then they come and want to do right. And then we'll kind of put the second and third string in to let them catch up some. Because the reason we had to do that is that because we were an independent team, just community team. And when you're not in a conference, if you go there beating people too bad, we would win every tournament. And we didn't even practice. We had push, come on, hey, you want to go play ball today? Yeah, come on. And then we would have a practice and show them the rules and everything. And we teach them how to play by, we have a practice, at the gym, really. I remember one time we didn't even have a goal. They have them shooting up just without a net. But they win every tournament. But what happened was, because you have to let them catch up, because when you're independent like that, if you beat them too bad, you won't be able to schedule any games. Because we'll let them get to like 10 points, then we'll put the big dogs back in there and run it back up again. But because stop and think. You think these St. Louis football team would be able to play these teams around here if they weren't in the conference with Eastside? They wouldn't even schedule Eastside. You see, but Granite City couldn't compete. Collinsville, they pulled out. Collinsville stayed in basketball because they could compete in basketball. Collinsville, I think a couple years ago, went 9-0 until they got into the playoffs after they got out of the Southwestern Conference. In the Southwestern Conference, they were getting beat every game. Well, let me stop on the locals. I don't like talking about locals. I got another page for that. I don't like to talk about my area much on this show. I got another one for that. But look, they but like I said, the Republicans get back to politics. The Republicans, if you don't, you see, they're not playing by the rules. You can't play by the rules. You gotta get dirty with them. Forget that old Michelle Obama stuff about when they go low, we go high. When they go low, you drag them down the hill, throw them in the pit, and they come on back out though. That and ain't nobody go down. I'm not following no moral stuff. Not if you, not if you're not gonna treat me right. You try being nice to them. But the Republicans been doing this for quite a while. They've been doing it for quite a while. See, and because they know they got these poor white people who hate black people so much, they're gonna vote for them against their own interests. You got some white people living so bad, they're showing them now. You thought that people in the project, well, matter of fact, people in the project live pretty good. But you thought black people living in poverty? Trying to see how bad a lot of them white folks live. And the thing about it, black people will go get some kind of help. They getting it. And they driven them, oh, they a lot of them on food stamps and stuff now. You know what they would say? They hated black so much. They would say, I don't want that Obamacare. I just want my ACP plan. Not realizing that was Obamacare. Obamacare just a slang name for it. The Affordable Care Act. Obamacare was just a slang name for it. They want it, but not if it was called Obamacare. These people hate you. I know we got some white folks who help us. We're not talking about them. And if the white folks who help us, and I have some white friends, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna say this again. I'm gonna tell you why. Cause they're my friends, and they already know I'm not talking about them because when they talk about us, they don't distinguish. When they talk about us, they don't say, "Well, you know, not all black people." I got some black friends. You don't hear them say they just talk about us. That's the last time I'm gonna say that. I'm not mentioning no more about no white friends. I'm not mentioning no more about where you good white folks. I'm not talking about you because I'm not doing it no more because they don't do that. They just talk about us. They don't distinguish. So I'm not doing that no more either. If you my friend and you think I'm talking about you, then it's just too bad. 'Cause I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing to please nobody. We gotta help our people and our people only. Everybody else, they show the look at they show. I know you see that look kids crying. Oh, I want my mom. I want my dad. Black people had their children ripped out their arms during slavery. Never saw them again. You had people. A man that have a family. Slave owner needs some money. Sell that man's family, and then don't sell them whole. May sell the mother to one plantation and sell her children to another one. Take the baby out the mama's arm and sell it. And you talking about your children crying? Your children didn't have to have National Guards escorting them to school because your children was going to school with the white people. See, go back during that period, like when Emmett Till was killed for supposedly whistling at a white woman. Do you know that you had Lucy and Ricky Ricardo on TV, married and was married in real life? White women making songs about their Latin lover. You were honorary whites at that time. You was the darling immigrants. How do you feel to be the new N words? You used to call us that a lot. I know, I lived around you. Oh, whenever you got mad, that's the first thing came out of your mouth. You Cubans. How did it for Donald Trump? That's the song they were singing. The woman who wrote the song, her people got deported. And I think she have now also. And then the one Cuban guy, his father was deported. He said, "Do you vote? Why did you vote for Trump?" Oh, I wanted to see the liberals cry. All of them, it was somebody they would vote. They would vote out of spite. Somebody they wanted to hurt. The Cubans wanted to hurt the Haitians. Now they're deporting them. How do they feel? How do people feel who fought for democracy around the world and fighting for liberty? And then the very nation who had you doing, they're kicking you out. When you came for asylum, now they're kicking you out. And now they've gotten a dictator of their own. But had you rammed democracy down everyone else's throat. Couldn't even build up the infrastructure of this nation, busy fighting wars. Instead of taking care of its people, building up the infrastructure. The United States, you go to other nations. Have you those African cities with the beautiful sky? These all the beautiful skylines of these cities in other countries in China and Africa, and skylines compared to the United States. They don't have all these overhead wires where your electric go off every time there's a bad storm. Their wires are underground because they built the infrastructure. See, just like in Europe and some of Africa and Asia, their infrastructure was destroyed by World War II. Most of Africa's infrastructure is new. It wasn't destroyed by war. But when they make them now, they make the wires underground. The United States was untouched in World War II. So it still has that same old time infrastructure with electric wires. Those people come over and see electric wires hanging up on poles. Come on, they was like that back in the 1920s. We haven't gotten any better than that. And in other developed nations, their wires are underground. And the electric don't go out every time there's a storm. Because why? You spent all your money ramming democracy down people's throats, fighting all these wars, and now you've elected you a dictator. People killed all over the world. And now you got you a dictator. I know those countries feel like some fools. They have listened to you. But you should have saw it coming. You know why? Back during World War II, before the United States tried to stay out of it. But you know that a third of the white people, this guy said the white people, because back then they didn't care what black people think and didn't take black people to the polls. A third of the white folks in this country wanted to enter the war in World War II. But they wanted to enter on the side of Germany to help Hitler out. A third of the white people in this nation wanted to go help Hitler. Because you have to remember, back then the Jews weren't very well liked in this nation. Jews was hated second only to black people back then. That's why they stood by and watched all of them get killed in the Holocaust. They knew what was going on over there. And they sat back and did nothing. But now that's the one thing I don't like about World War II, the Holocaust. The rest of it did pretty good for Africa because it weakened the European powers, the colonial powers, and they could no longer hold on to their colonies in Africa because, see, Hitler wasn't doing anything in Europe that Europe wasn't doing in the rest of the world. He was invaded their land, killed their people, was taking their natural resources, and occupying their land. That's the same thing Europe was doing in Africa and many other parts of the world at that time. That's why I didn't have no pity for Europe. But back to what I was talking about. Yeah, see, everybody's going back to my first subject. They're whining for black people to get involved in their movements. But you notice one thing about black people? All the time we had movements, we had marches, we had protests. We never begged anybody to come and help. We took care of it ourselves. They came and helped on their own. But we never hollered and cried out, where the white people at? Where the Latinos at? We getting our butts kicked. Come help us. No, we didn't do that. You came and helped us on your own. But we didn't ask anyone to do anything. We didn't cry. We didn't whine. We take care of our own business. And it may be some things may not be over for us. It's gonna be maybe some things come our way now, but we'll deal with it like we always have. We built for this, y'all not. We've been through. Look, we've been what you all going through. We've been through that. It's like they hit us with their best shots. And like we say, is that all you got? When you look at the long run, you all crying like a little bee, you know what? Don't come to us crying to us. I'm gonna take a quick break and I'll be right back. Stay with me if you can. I'll be back. Give me about 1 minute and I can't get my cash app to go down. Oh, it went down that time. Oh, I got two of them up. That's why it wouldn't go down. Yeah, hit my cash app if you can. I want to expand this show and start taking it on the road and introduce some pretty well known people. Yeah, but stay with me. I'm gonna run this commercial right quick. I'll be right.
What's good, everybody? My name is Brandon Hunter, also known as OG Brando, and I am the founding formulator for the Origin of Greatness. In front of me, I have my products, the OG Hair Sheen, which is all-around great moisturizer, and then I have my hemp seed butter, which is all-around great moisturizer for the skin as well. If you have any questions about either of my products, please, you can find me at the Origin of Greatness on Instagram, the OG LLC on Facebook, and at our website at theog.net. And also be on the lookout for the OG in collab and connection with Tierra Speaks. You might just catch us, with some. We got a little collab going on. She got her thing with her self-care box, and so we got some things coming. But greatness is definitely on the way. Onward and upward.
Okay, I'm back. Ah, let me check. Make sure my audio is going good. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Well, I don't even have it plugged up. But look, um, that commercial you just saw, Origin of Greatness. They have a store here at 4601 State Street in the Blue Medical Building. The products they have is very good. It grows hair back. People who were bald, his father used to be bald on top of his full head of, got a full head of hair now. And they got, they do that now. You don't have to have those surgery if you want to. I use it. I could grow some back in my, I lost mine on the top. I just like mine bald. I try. I might let it grow out a little bit just to prove to folks it can grow. My eyebrows used to grow halfway, stop right there. I use it. Matter of fact, it's bringing it around a little bit too far. But try some of it out as a spray. You don't even have to put it on every day. You can put it on like every 2 or 3 days. And it's got natural ingredients in it. You don't have to. A lot of people that like to use hymns, they said it kind of burnt the scalp and have sores on them, but these don't have any harsh chemicals in it. They got the spray, and then they have the creams for your skin. Some very good products. And I put my name behind it because they're very good products. The I even buy some similar to people I know, who may want to grow some hair or thicken their hair. You don't have to just use the grow hair. You can use it to thicken your hair. I use it on my beard now. Yeah, let it grow out and cover the gray up. Yeah. So and they're black owned, and it's their own formula. And we have to start backing these just because we need to get these other folks out of our community. Put our people in here. Oh, I know you say, oh, black folks, you go in their bed, they don't talk to you right. But these other folks, but do they talk to you all good? We'll let these black people know. Look, if you want to still come everybody else out and you want black business in here, you got to treat these people right. Well, we don't treat each other good anyway. We're not very good at relationships. Let's just face it. We're not good at relationships. Not even being friends. See the way the black friends treat each other? Clowning each other all the time, fussing and cursing with each other all the time. We're just not good at relationships. Male, female, any kind. But look, back to what I was talking about. We have I first started out talking about in DC, how they allowed their children to be out, knowing what was going on there. And that's really stupid. If I know they got the National Guard, they got the Metropolitan Police, and military, they're bringing some Marine, that's in LA where they got active duty military people there. In DC, they got National Guards doing, they say they can wear guns. I believe they had them doing a lot of agriculture work, cleaning the city, raking. And, you're going to send National Guards in to do something like that. I know they had to feel humiliated. You got a rake in your hand, raking up leaves and stuff, raking up trash, and you're a National Guardsman. But still, you know, they got those people there. You're gonna let your children go out in the streets to some little party. Oh, they have this every year. Why this year? You can go past 1 year without doing. Like if you don't pay them people in attention, stay away from that mess. They're not gonna be there that long. You can control yourself for a little while. 30 days, they said 30-day deployment. You got to run out in the streets, grown men hanging up. One of them, they said, well, they went to the basketball, go, oh, we can't play basketball. Go home. You know what's going on. Just stay home for now. Unless you want to get your head busted and end up in alligator Alcatraz. So far, there haven't been too many problems. And look at the people they arrested, misdemeanors. And like the Latinos said, well, they said they were going to get the criminals, and they actually believed that. See, that's what and see another thing to show you the parallel. How many times they came in the black community, we're coming after the gangbangers, and they bother everybody except the gangbangers. That's the one problem black people have when they come in our areas. We don't want crime because most of the crime they commit is being committed against black people. Just that when they do come, they don't go after the people that they say they're after. They go after, they're supposed to be after gangbangers, and they coming after men on their way home from work. Some are middle-aged seniors. Like they gangbang. I know white people be gangbangers at old age. They look at motorcycle gangs. They look at white people men supposed to be in gangs. They go grandpas with long gray beards. You don't find no black person that age doing something like that. But that's what they do. When they had to stop and frisk in New York, and not that it was a bad policy, but it's the way they was implemented. They catching men, come on the way home from work, want to stop and frisk them. While the gangbanger walk by and don't nobody bother him. That's the problem black people have when they call themselves coming in, getting tough. They did it in East St. Louis, Illinois. Supposed to be brought in the state police, who was supposed to be after the gangbangers. They pulling people over for tags like they doing traffic. instead of going after the gangs. That's why a lot of people say I don't think it'd be a bad idea to bring them in to go after these criminals. Don't fall into the same traps the Latinos did. We didn't fall into that trap before. We were glad to see them come in to help out, and they went after everyone except that person. The people they said, I'm sorry, they accept the people that they say that they were after. That's the only problem I have with. They're not gonna go after the people that they say they want to get. During the when they had started itself with, with Bill Clinton, they started that war on drugs, and they, Bill Clinton signed into law the crimes bill. Even he did that. If we did, they talking about he's the first black president. He wasn't nothing. Being such fools saying stuff like that. He's a white man just like all the rest of them. Just because he blew a saxophone. Bill Clinton, you know why he started that crime bill? That was during the height of the crack epidemic. They won't say epidemic. But when it's black, white people say epidemic. The black people just bunch of stone out drug addicts. It's a big crime. What happened was black people was getting killed all over the place in LA at the time. I believe this was in LA. I think it was in LA. There was this white family turned down the wrong street to a dead end, and a lot of them ended up getting killed. Bill Clinton got so angry about that. That's why he drafted that crimes bill. Which on paper, the crimes bill is a good bill. But it's always the way that it's implemented. Even the Congressional Black Caucus voted for it. They was criticizing Biden for voting for it. But even the Congressional Black Caucus, James Lewis and all them, they voted for it. Because it was a good bill on paper. But in reality, the way it's implemented wasn't good. The way they went after the people, it wasn't good. And that's why you can't always go by what's on paper. Because it work on paper don't mean that it's gonna work in reality. Because Bill Clinton, he did a lot of old dirty stuff. He was a dirty dog, just like all the rest of them, and not just with no woman on the desk. He was just like all the rest of them. And so, so we really, it's just that we do have some people who do better by us than others. And so that's what we have to deal with. They just say that I'm not going to vote both parties the same. If both parties was the same, do you think if Kamala Harris had won or Hillary Clinton had won, do you think we'll be going through what we're going through now with the Republicans? If any Democrat had won, you think we'll be going through this? So how is both parties the same? Oh, Obama, he didn't do nothing for black people. Health care, student loan forgiveness. Black unemployment reached its lowest point in history first under Obama. He helped to build the economy and jobs. You think that don't benefit black people? He's not gonna come down and personally help you. That's for you to do, not him. It's his nation to run his nation. It's his job to run his nation. So that life can be better for you. And he did that. Quit thinking you black people tend to think if you don't say black health care, then it's not talking about black people. You gotta have black in front of it. But you don't hear them saying, oh, Bush didn't do nothing for black people. They say, well, Obama, all he just did something for the homosexual. No, he didn't. You know why they say that? He signed the bill after they brought it to him. But he didn't advocate for it. They came to Obama and they asked him, say, do you believe in same-sex marriage? He told them, I believe marriage should be, you can look this up yourself and see, look at the video yourself. I believe marriage should be between a man and a woman. But I can't tell somebody else who to love. And what happened was They went, they started ratifying it state by state. And then they brought the bill to Congress, and he signed it. What he's supposed to say? No, no, I'm not going to sign it. These people don't deserve rights. The only president that can get away with that is Trump. Obama couldn't have gotten away with that. So they said Obama's got rights for the homosexuals. If Obama had did it, it wouldn't have had to go from state by state, be ratified by each state. It would have just been federal law. If he had did it himself. But see, the same black people who spoke against Obama, they're quiet about Trump. I don't see what Trump, they haven't done nothing for black people. He is doing something for us, but it's not meant to help us. A lot of stuff he's doing really not hurting us. It hurting some black women because the only people who did, I always say black people really didn't benefit from the vaccine. But some black women did because they saw them as double minority, male, female, and black. So that's why it seems like he's going after black people. He going after black women. He going after black people just that black women have more government jobs. Most of high-paying, high-earning black women work for the government. High-earning black men has his own business or work for a corporation. But see, one of the worst things that happened is when they stop calling us black and start calling us minority. That threw us in the lump with everybody else. There used to be black and white. Now it's minority. That throwing us in with white women, people of color. When you put white women and people of color all together, that means the white male is now a minority. He's walking away with 83%. But you got your mind on, make it look, put a black face on it, and white folks will suffer if they think they're hurting some black people. I remember years ago, there was this white man. They had to go take his children and his family. They were malnourished, and living so bad, and I remember they asked him, why come you didn't go get food stamps and feed your family? He said, well, I didn't want to seem like an N-word. He let his family starve because he thought food stamps was just for black people. And yet, that woman even went along with that and put up with that. Let your children starve because you think it make you look like a black person. You know, while we get food stamps, we don't want to seem like a malnourished person with our ribs sticking out. We haven't gotten our reparations. So we'll get whatever we want to get from the government. Give us our reparations if you don't want us to get no food stamps. Give us our reparations if you don't want us to get no welfare. But you're not going to do that. And you know one thing I noticed, when it comes to black people, going to Africa, but you never notice white people never talk about going to Europe. It's not an option for them. You do have some black people. I know some from East St. Louis, from here in East St. Louis where I'm at, and other black people I know who have moved to Africa. But how many white people actually move to Europe or go back to Europe, as they say to us? I heard one white woman on the internet say her and her family thinking about moving to Europe. They'd rather go to Canada than go to Europe, because Europe is supposed to be so great. See, a lot of things is coming out now. A lot of things are coming out about white people. That was a myth. Man, I tell you, they're suffering right now. They're suffering. They see they're about to lose everything. I know a lot of black people that happened to. See, because they were subsidized. Do you know that most black, no, most white corporations, this United States has always been a welfare state for the rich. Do you know most corporations get some type of government subsidy, which is nothing but welfare? That's the only way they really operate. A lot of white businesses get government subsidies, but they say they pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. They never have. Just like the black farmers couldn't get subsidies, but yet they still made it and doing better than the white farmers now. A lot of those white farmers became millionaires off of those subsidies. While the black farmers may do it now, they're doing great. I wouldn't be surprised you see a black farmers, a bunch of black farmers get together, the white folks whining while the black farmers putting boots on the ground, popping that fan, while the white farmers whine because they really did the black farmers like dirt because and Biden did too. I voted for Biden. I'd have voted for him again, but I have to agree with everything they do, but all of them gonna do something. Biden did the black farmers like dirt too. See, what happened was during COVID, the white farmers got a bailout, got a kind of a rebate, or got some money from the government. The black farmers didn't get it. The black farmers sued. They won. The white farmers sued and said they weren't part of the black farmers' money, even though the black farmers didn't get any of theirs. And this is something that I never seen before. They didn't get the black farmers their money because of the white farmers. How can you win a lawsuit because I say I want some of your money, then just drop the suit and you don't get nothing? I never saw anything like that before. And now you think somebody care about you losing your farm? You can lose your farm, said this before, your house, your dog, your crops, your wife, everything. I could care less. Those white people, have you noticed even in South Africa, they said that there was genocide, they being treated like there was a aggression against white people in South Africa. They brought 59 of them over and now all of a sudden it stopped. But they want to immigrate white people here. Those are not going after the white immigrants. Then in South Africa, they have gated communities that were cities where only white people live. But that's what happened when you allow your oppressors and those who stole your stuff stay in your country. Have you ever noticed no people in the world, everywhere else the majority rules except with black people, with white folks? The minority rule, the majority. When you ended apartheid, you got to kick them people out of your country. You can't keep doing business with them, seize their bank accounts, seize all their generational wealth, take them to the airport, train station, let them go wherever they're going to go and strip them butt naked. Let them get on a plane and train butt naked and get up out of here. You're not taking nothing, not even your clothes, up out of here. That's where I do it. See, we gotta stop being so nice. I strip them butt naked and kick their butts up out of my country. But what can you expect from the nation of Nelson Mandela? Nelson Mandela was one of the biggest idiots I've ever seen. I told you this before. Okay. He spent 27 years in prison because he wouldn't denounce violence as a way to end apartheid in South Africa. He spent 27 years in prison. And what did he do? They let him out because he denounced violence as a way denounced violence as a way to end apartheid. Couldn't you have done that 27 years ago? Why would you sit in prison all that time, and then turn around and do what they say they want you to do in the first place? Just do it in the first place. Don't go to prison and just run a clandestine operation to get rid of apartheid. Go in the hide, the underground, do it underground. And you know what he had the nerve to do? Stay in prison 27 years. Then go divorce Winnie Mandela, his wife, talking about she cheated on me. You set up in prison unnecessarily for 27 years, and you think nobody scratched that itch in 27 years while you sitting up there talking about what you're not going to do and did it anyway. They really didn't even have to be there. 27 years. No way Winnie could have been in jail 27 years, and he come home to my she, and she come home to my she cheated on him. He probably had another wife, and everybody would have divorced her. You know that. I'm surprised Winnie didn't. She should have. Went on some idiot 27 years. I wouldn't. I don't know why she did. Probably because of the name's sake. She better not be in there 5 years. 1 year. Don't have time to be. You don't have time to be wasting their lives waiting on. It will depend on what they're going there for, though. But you're still gonna get that itch scratched though. But the thing is, you don't go say I'm not gonna do this, sit in prison 27 years and do it anyway. That's an idiot. That's why I say in South Africa, they're not the best sane people in Africa. They do some silly things. I know a few of them. Their thinking is a bit off. So I wouldn't waste money. If let's say if I moved to Africa, I don't think it would be South Africa. Now, some people think a little rough to me. Not rough, but they just don't think they don't do sane rational thinking to me. I could be wrong, but they don't their rationale is not very good to me. They still love their oppressor. You see in many of the African nations like Burkina Faso, Ghana, they ran the French out. They're keeping their own natural resources and they're getting rich. See, Africa's medium age, they have the youngest age on the planet. It's the youngest continent on the planet. Black Africa, not the more people that migrated and up north, those light skinned folks. But Black Africa, their medium age is 18, the youngest on the planet. So Africa is going to be on the rise. You can see the Caucasian race is on the decline. That's what they're trying to hold on to. They're on the decline. They're being kicked out of places all around the world. Even Europe's in decline. Europe's been in decline for quite a while. That's why you don't hear white folks talk about going back there. Now it's the United States. It says that there have been many nations. See, the white man rule is coming to an end. There's been other who rule, who had dominance, who live with a dominant race. And just as they fell by the wayside, so would the white man. Because the only thing they have going for them is weapons. That's why they talking about with black people saying, oh, they got this big army and all that. What has these big armies been successful on the ground? They haven't been. Every war they fought, where they had to fight on the ground. They killed a lot of people, don't get me wrong. When you win a war by achieving your objective, the objective has never been achieved by any war that they had to put boots on the ground. They're good at bombing. That's all they're good at is bombing. You see, Russia on the ground. Ukraine wipes them out. They they only have air superiority. But on the ground, they're not doing anything. In Korea, we had to fight on the ground. That still haven't been resolved. Vietnam, when they had to fight on the ground, they killed a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, but they didn't achieve their objective. All and then had them people fighting for democracy. Now we don't even have it anymore. But what they call democracy, they were fighting for resources. It's called it fighting for democracy. They don't care about democracy. But see, everywhere they put boots on the ground, in Afghanistan, Iraq, they went in Afghanistan to drive out the Taliban. Who's in control? They were there 20 years. Who's in control of Afghanistan right now? The Taliban. Killed a lot of people. They're good at that, but they don't achieve their goal. They don't achieve their goal. The new Black Panther Party said they're coming into areas, but said they're gonna go and talk to some white people in Ohio, some neo-Nazi, some Klan, some they're gonna march in the black area. They told them, no, you're not. They didn't do it because they knew they were ready for them. And then and the leader, I'm gonna go to a meeting and try to talk to the Klan. You don't go nowhere and talk to nobody. Get ready for war. Time they had 400 years to talk. Get ready for war. They want to get it on, just get it on with it. But they're not going to because they're little cowards. They say they want to start a race war. All they do is kill them, go and kill a white person. I'm trying to start a race war. One man killed his his mother and his grandparents, his parents and grandparents. I want to start a race war. We don't care. How you gonna start a race war like that? We don't care. Then the only one who killed some black people died in the roof in that church. And you notice they didn't make no pattern out of that. One person may do something, it may hold up. It happened again and again. It's time to move on that. They got churches, people sitting up in churches too. You know what I mean? Then there's just one man cut his daddy head off, come a traitor, and then took pictures. Sat down in the chair, put his daddy head back on his body, and they sat down in the chair watching TV to get somebody. He wanted to start a race war. He might have to start that in the mental asylum or something. They ain't need give him the death penalty. I always hollering about the death penalty for everybody else. Let's get him out the way. That crazy. Yeah, but don't nobody want to fight us. We untested in battle. They don't know what would happen. They know it's not gonna be no 1917 and Tulsa in 2021. It's not gonna be like that. But we don't have time to play with you no more. I'll go to the meeting and talk to them. Or prick their conscience. They don't have a conscience. Martin Luther King found that out. Yeah, but like I said, we gotta go worry about other folks. Let them cry. Let them whine. But we need black. You don't need us. You never needed us before. What was you ever? We needed you. We wouldn't fight because Our people come here and overstay visas and all that. We were fighting for our rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, to be able to vote, to be able to work. What was you at then? Laughing at us, making fun of us. But then you want to come in on stuff like your police brutality, help with that. Even the white people, you help with that because you know that could happen to you. You gonna come help fight us fight for reparations? I don't hear no white folks talking about that. I don't hear no Latino talking about that. You know the Africans got to know Africans and Jamaicans and all them talking about they need to be a part of our reparations. That's why they calling us fundamental Black Americans now, and getting us away from that African thing. We're not Africans no more. Do you hear the white people in this country who helped founded this country calling themselves Europeans? They said no. They said they are Americans. This is their country. We did the same thing in America that they did. So how is it their nation and not ours? This wasn't a nation when we came here. When I say we, I'm talking about our ancestors. But our people, this wasn't a nation. So we just as entitled to this land as anyone else is. And those Africans, I don't know what to say about y'all. You're not getting a penny of our money. You better go get your money from the Europeans who you gave all your gold and diamonds and they take all your stuff. At least we didn't let nobody take all our stuff. Let the minority come rule over us, take your stuff, and build up their nation while you was pooping in a hole. And they pooping in a gold toilet. Now you letting China, some of them. But some of them, Abraham Traore and Burkina Faso, he's changing all that. He's getting a lot of other nations on board. He ran the French out. They running those colonial powers. Now they say France's economy is suffering because all that money they was getting out of Africa, they can't get anymore. I hope it crash and burn. I ain't got time for no nice stuff no more. You against our folks, I'm against you. I have no pity for you, and I'm not crying for you. Time out for that. No one had no pity for us. No one cried for us. You laughed at us. We don't sit around laughing at you because we're not that petty. We just won't be bothered with you. Well, we're not laughing at you like you did us. Now who's the joke on? You can get on the internet and cry, whine, and holler all you want to. Talking about we next. You sound crazy saying that. We next for what? Deportation? No, that's not us. That's you. So what are we next for? They've already done everything to us. And we next. You say so? Don't worry about it. We're doing fine. Worry about yourself. Don't drop that soap in alligator Alcatraz. Don't drop that taco in alligator Alcatraz. You might get a bit on the butt by alligator. Do you know I saw videos and they were showing like in Africa? Did you know alligators don't attack those Africans? The children was playing riding on the alligator's back. Never seen nothing like that before. They were riding on the alligator's back, playing with the alligator, little children, walking among lions and tigers. And these weren't tamed animals. This was out in the wild. That's when nature's in tune with each other. So over here, all this stuff out of whack over here. It's all out of whack. You go over and try to go around the alligator here. See what happens. Try to walk in there with a lion. You can even go to the zoo and get in the lion's cage. These people walking out in the wild, walking with the lions and tigers and all that around. They walking right among them. The little children riding on the back of grown alligators. That what happen when you're in tune with nature. Boy, over here everything's all out of whack. I like to be in tune with nature, but it has to be another way 'cause I'm not walking up to an alligator or a lion. I'm westernized. I don't know nothing about walking amongst them. They may smell that western on me. Come get me. But the thing is, we gotta look out for our own. And you people keep your children off the streets in these cities where where the military and the National Guards is at. Because they really want us. That's what they really want. But just not much they can do so far that we know of. But this evil man, he may make some new laws. And when he do, we gotta be ready for him. We gotta be ready for these agents. I mean be ready. I'm not talking about all that old get your cell phone and record, talk a bunch of mess and not gonna bust a grape. You come here, grab one of these women, throw them in the van. No, that ain't right. Let her go. Filming with your cell phone and not gonna do nothing to help her. Now, see, one thing about these people, these Latinos and white people, they dragging white women all on the sidewalk and all. They're not like us. They don't believe in that nonviolent stuff. You keep bothering them too much, you have a civil war on your hands. You can to my race war, you can have a civil war because these white folks gonna start a pop cow on you. They're not gonna be talking about forming a peaceful protest. They're gonna be ready to cow on you. And these Latinos just may also. We've been indoctrinated with that Martin Luther King, I have a dream, nonviolent stuff, but most of us see it don't work, but not in this day and age. But the thing is, we got to get ready. Man, got to get ready. Don't be wasting it up in the sky at night. But keep that stuff. Get your concealed carry while you still can. Hope they don't try to cut that out. Now, while you can, as soon as possible, because you may need it. I'm gonna take another quick break and then I'm gonna come and wrap up. I had some videos I was gonna play, but I couldn't get them to download about those Latinos begging for us. Take a quick break. I'll be right. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, so if they come to any area, anywhere, people anywhere around the country, if they bring these people into your area, kind of keep your children inside. I mean the big ones too. Just go ahead and do what you have to do. If they got a job or go to school, come on home and don't be sitting around hanging out. And you old guys, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You're supposed to be teaching the children. You around here hanging out. Want to play basketball, which is fine. But right now you just can't do that stuff. Then get your phone, want to talk a bunch of mess, and that's what all you're gonna do. That's about all you're gonna do. Yeah, video, that's good to document it. Sometimes you gotta know how to shut up too. And many you really don't know when to shut up. Talking all that old trash, you're not gonna do nothing. And then people they really need to listen to. They don't want to because they used to you talking all that. You calling the cop name is not gonna change anything. Sitting around calling him names. You're this, you're that. Well, you need to cut that out. Yeah. So guess I'm gonna give it a call it a night. I just want to come on and say that we gotta not let our children go and confront these people. Or any of you go confront them. Just try to stay out their way as much as possible. I'm talking about even if they came to this area, which I doubt. Because St. Louis is in a red state with a white mayor. They don't go after that type. If they did, St. Louis would probably number one on the list. So you all be vigilant and watch out for yourself and kind of watch out for each other because I think we're gonna need each other real soon. Very, very soon. Oh well, let me call it a night. I'm beginning to get a little sleepy. Really. I meant to come on earlier, but I was doing something. Okay. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on No More Water. Fine. Next time. All right. Good night.